Hi, this little tutorial is going to show you how to make a contact, or what is sometimes called an index sheet of your images for submission either to class or to a client or just for reference for yourself. In the newer versions of Photoshop, there are two ways you can go about it. The first and easiest is to do it from Bridge, and that's where we're going to start for our tutorial here. So here's Bridge, and it's open to a folder that has a number of photographs in it. I'm going to pick a few of these to make a sample contact sheet from. So I'm going to pick this one, and I'm just using a control click to pick the ones I want. So we've picked the shots that we're going to use for our index sheet. I'll go ahead and take this one too. Now we'll go up to Tools, Photoshop, and select Contact Sheet 2. Now this opened up with this as our selection in Bridge. You would think because it's defaulted to it that it would automatically take it. I've discovered it doesn't always, so I'm going to open that up and click on it. It shows me I have 6 files selected. I've got 8 by 10 inches, that's fine. 300 pixels per inch, sRGB, those are standard. Leave those. Down here for the thumbnails, you can put any number of columns and rows that you want. This is set really for 35 millimeter sized images. I'm going to set it to 3 by 3. So I can put 9 on a page. When you come down here to the captions, I would suggest strongly that you pick a condensed type of font for it. So just for grins, I'm going to pick this one, condensed, and then set the points to 8. Otherwise, what happens is the caption takes over the whole frame you have set, and you end up with these tiny little images. So once that's set, then say OK. Now it will open you in Photoshop, where it will start to build these contact sheets. And there you are. It is that easy to do. Now what you could do is do a file, save as, and you can pick, do you want to save it as a Photoshop file, as a Photoshop PDF, you can save it as a JPEG, you can save it as anything. In the old versions of Photoshop, it saved it automatically as a PDF file. Now you don't have to do that. So you would select what you wanted, give it a name, and there it is. I'm going to cancel out of this now so I can show you the other way to do this. So I'm going to do File, Close. Here we are in Photoshop, File, Automate, Contact Sheet. It's going to be our selection. You'll notice this is, from this point, it's going to be just like it was in Bridge with only one exception. And that exception is here. This still defaults to Bridge, but when we use this close down, or this pull down menu, we get a number of other possibilities. We can go to specific files. We can do entire folders. If we had open documents here, if we had selected a few and opened them, and they were appearing as tabs across here, we could do all of those. Or we can open Bridge and select things from Bridge. But just to show you a difference, here's Files. Now it will ask me to browse. If I go into a folder that has a number of images available, I'm going to shift-click on several of these to select them all. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 6 selected. I'll say OK. Now the names of those appear here in my list. So I want to do all of those. I'm going to select them all just to be sure. Now we've got the same set of options down through here. So I'm going to leave this. Just remember, if you're doing this the first time, I'm only asking for 8 for one of our portfolios, so you could create 9. When I'm doing this for myself, I usually do this as if this was for a 2 1/4 type sheet where I get 12 on a page, so I might do 3 by 4. But it's up to you. You can make it do anything. I'll keep these settings, my 8-point type. I'll say OK. And now what will happen is exactly what happened the last time. It's going to go through all of those files. It's going to take a second because those are bigger files than I had picked before. But after a brief pause while it picks files, there they are. There's your contact sheet. Now, if you wanted more room around this to add a title, let's say, or a footer, then what you could do is go into Image, Canvas Size. I always leave mine to relative. We know right now it's 8 by 10. If I were going to put this in a notebook that handled 8.5 by 11 sheets, then on my width, I can add a total of a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch on a side. And on my height, I can add 1 full inch. I'll leave the center button here, so it's going to expand in all directions. Say OK. Now I can pick white. And fill that. And now I've got room for me. I can go to the type tool. I need to set this to black. And now I can type in whatever I want to put across there as a title. If I've got multiple pages, I could number each one. I could do all that kind of stuff. Now all I would have to do is, again, save it and just go to File, Save As, determine how I wanted to save it. It'll default to saving it to where I picked up those files, but I could give it someplace else. And that's all there is to it. So that's how you make a contact sheet.